Yeah, man. We back in it, man. We catching up. Everybody done seen Sinners. You know, we was gonna talk. We was gonna talk about that. We want to give it a little love. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Get a movie a little love real quick before we get into that real talk. Spoilers. Ain't no spoiler. It been out long enough. If you ain't seen it,
I know, but some people still ain't seen it.
If you ain't seen it,
I just saw it yesterday.
I know, but if you ain't seen it, it's on you. And this ain't no spoiler.
I'm not gonna say I only saw it before the podcast. I really did want to see it, but us talking about it on the podcast motivated me to want to go see it even more. But I'm going to save my take on it last because I think it might go in a different direction. But I will say this: it was a good movie. It was a good movie, and a lot of people don't think this, but that's a horror film. I don't care. I don't care.
I really didn't think it was scary.
It is classified as horror.
I know what it's classified as.
A lot of things can be classified as something, but that don't mean that it's it.
That's what it was.
Nah, it wasn't a horror movie.
I just don't think it was a horror movie. If you have not seen Sinners, go see Sinners. Just go see the movie. Go watch it. Patronize it. Support it. One of the most selling black horror films in history. One of the best selling horror films in history, by the way. So just go see the movie, yo. And then tell me what you think after the fact.
As y'all said, it's not a horror film. It's the best black horror film.
I got to use the genre to talk about the movie.
But we're saying it was not
as scary as it was led on to
it didn't seem it didn't seem like horror at all.
Right.
Well, it was. Quality movie. This is one of the times where Michael B. Jordan, he got me. He got me. I think for him, and y'all say what y'all want to say. I think for him, he does a great anti-hero character. So with Killmonger, he was a great anti-hero. I'm not gonna say he was a bad guy, but he was a great anti-hero. And then in this movie, he was a great anti-hero. He just he captures the characters very, very well, showing how conflicted they are and how different layers, how layered they are as characters. So I really did love that. As soon as I saw the movie though, I was like, yo, when they was arguing over the money and stuff, I was like, that's Melvin Brown. That is Melvin Brown.
How you gonna make a business of people buying food with wooden nickels? I'm gonna make money people paying for food with wood. I just stole booze and they buying it with wood nickels. No, we need some money.
But it also goes to show too, knowing your personnel, right? So they had in the movie, obviously they had left for a minute. They back trying to, get a thing going, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
But it's a disconnect with the audience to a degree of who they were serving. So they had this concept, but how you have to tailor your product to the audience in which you engage.
True.
So that's what I took from it.
What do you like? Explain that a little bit more.
So Smoke was trying to create this elaborate, expensive juke joint situation, like this experience,
right?
Forgetting that they were just small town country people who worked in the cotton fields, and basically the juke joint was their escape from the day.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of money to offer. They didn't have a lot of resources and things like that. So the juke joint to them was my escape from the cotton field today.
Right.
He was looking at it like, we trying to make this money.
Yeah.
Right.
We trying
Based
to get,
upon their experiences outside of that
where they came from.
Location where they came
so
from.
Smoke was trying to make money. Stax was.
He was trying to make money, but he basically was like be patient. Remember who we doing business with right now. We not where we used to be.
That's what Stax was like.
Yeah, we back home.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So Smoke was trying to move a little different. With the situation. I think there was a lot of symbolisms.
Oh, for sure.
In the movie, some of which I could grasp right away, and some I didn't until after I read like the movie notes, like explaining, some of the symbolism after, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't recognize that. But a lot of the ones that were in there, I did like grab right away. Just like, for example, the concept of cookout. You're invited to the cookout. You know what I'm saying? Like every time. A person, a white person, Asian, whatever it may be, whenever they do something that shows some sort of rhythm or anything like that, black people are quick to be like, oh, you can come to the cookout. You can come to the cookout. So then you're inviting people into the space that don't necessarily need to be there or have improper reasons for wanting to be there. And then it affects the entire group to the standpoint where now we all, in a terrible situation because you didn't hold true to what our community is. Basically, we created juke joint for us. Now you're trying to let everybody in there.
Sure,
just right. Sing and dance, whatever like that. So just little things, like that. Or from the concept of, we always talk about being allies and stuff like that with everybody, and how black and brown people are usually like closely aligned, with each other. But there's always this undertone where black people feel like black and brown are united until whatever's going on with black no longer serves brown, and then they focus on what is best for Brown or whatever. So the kind of the same thing happened in the Juke joint after like everyone started figuring out, you know, vampires versus whatever.
Yeah.
And the Asian lady's husband got turned.
Yeah.
And once she realized this group is no longer serving me, she invited everybody into the barn. You know what I'm saying? But before that, when we was buying catfish and everything else from the, you know, they was dancing, they was laughing, they was joking, whatever. But as soon as the situation stopped serving her, she started focusing on what was best for herself. And that's how everybody, you know what I'm saying, got in the bar. So like little stuff like that, you know, catching a call and out right away. But ultimately, I think the movie was legit. So
Yeah,
I did not. I mean, you framing it like that. I did not see that.
Well, yeah, it was all throughout. It was all throughout in a multitude of ways. Just how musicians are viewed, how music is a sector, if you will, to other realms or other experiences and those kind of things. So it's definitely a large scale historical context to it.
The musical ensemble, I don't know if it's an ensemble, but the depiction of how music has connected us from our historical roots until now, like that was like real huge in the film for me, because one, I didn't expect it. I was genuinely expecting like us to be just in this timepiece the whole time. But the fact that one, this is a sci-fi, so you have a little play in which you can do whatever you want to do in a sci-fi. But the fact that he had some historical roots that connected us from our African roots even to modern day of how music has kept us alive, has brought us joy, like that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah, so go see Sinners, man. Support the movie. It's a good movie. It's not anti-Christian.
Yeah, I don't think it's anti-Christian.
I heard a lot of Christians didn't want to see it because of the title of the name. They felt like it was anti-Christian, so they didn't want to.
But what's not? I mean,
that was my viewpoint.
And that's the thing. Like anything could be quantified as
anti-Christian.
Anything. Like it's just like we going off, and I guess maybe it's just how we elevate words, but not necessarily the meaning or the concept behind a word. It's obviously a movie is art. You know what I mean? We have actors. We obviously are putting out messaging, symbolisms, those kind of things. But it's truly how you apply it or how you view it holistically, how you take that in. Like it's just a title.
It's just a title. And I did not feel the anti-Christian. Well, okay, there was that one portion of the movie. Before I get to there, because that's the part that I wanted to say for last. I just want to look at the camera and let all my gingers know that I know y'all went through some stuff. Y'all ain't black though. I just want to put that on out there. You know what I'm saying? It's a movement on TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff saying that gingers are black now? No. Just because we have similarities does not make us, and part of that, a reason why I want to say that is because I don't want to take away from your history, and I definitely don't want to take away from mine. So gingers aren't black. I'm gonna clip that up, and if I get fried up, I get fried up. Okay, I want to put that right there.
My boy died being controversial for a change.
But I do want to say that I mean, of course, there was that moment at the very end where Preacher Boy was being baptized, and you know the lead vampire was basically saying, you know, when the colonizers came to our country using Christ or whatever the case may be, and got us, you know, this is me trying to, I want to build my own kingdom in order to come back at them. I did not take it as being anti-Christian. That's anti-colonizer for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, just because a mode was used to do evil does not make that mode evil.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So even though Christianity was the mode that people from England and, well, I should say Europe, because Spain colonized a lot of people too, and France. Just because they were trying to do it, and they were, you know, they gave the people that they took this religion, it doesn't necessarily mean that the religion was wrong. Those people who did it were evil. They were evil.
Correct. I mean, that can be applied to any religious concept or belief.
Yes.
I mean, so as you said in other conversations, with liberty, you have to be able to understand and discern
Yes.
what is applicable, what is not. So
Yes.
anything that is meant for good can be used for evil, and that's just what it was.
Yes,
and it's a part of everybody's history across the board.
And I'll even say this. Okay, so computers are used. Hold on. Let me get my thought together. Let me get it together.
Find
Let
it.
me get it
Find
together
it.
now. Just because sex offenders use computers to be predators on children, does that mean we need to get rid of computers now? Because they use computers as a mode to connect with these kids and get the child pornography and things of that nature. Should we get rid of the computers? Because that's being used. I mean, it's a good thing, but it's being used for a bad mode.
Yeah.
I hear this argument a lot. The boats. One of the boats' name was Jesus. Okay. I got a Mexican homie named Jesus too. You know what I'm saying? what does that got to do with anything? Right. Are you still on boats now? Mm-hmm. I see black people on Carnival cruises every single year. Love it, on the Lido deck, getting that burger from the guys. You know what I'm saying? I see it every single year. So are we gonna if you're gonna demonize everything, do everything. Don't just do it at the part where you it's just want to reject. Right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I do want to say this. So I do want to say that. So getting to the part that really hit me in the movie, I left the movie and I cried in repentance. I cried and I sat in my car and I cried like a baby, bro. And I'm not saying this to get any credit or anything like that. It was actually like a moment of repentance and I felt, because one of the things that I said in my commentary about the movie, Sinners was everybody in the movie. I'm talking about from the people at the Jew joint, the vampires, the people in the church. The only innocent person that I said was innocent in that movie was the baby that didn't make it. That's the only person that was innocent. I was really hurt because the pastor, Preacher Boy's father, said that you got to let go of the music. You got to choose either the music or God. Mm-hmm. And so many times I have seen the church make rules that were not outlined in scripture and have put that on people as a burden. Sure. And kept them and have hurt people because they've created this burden that people just can't bear. This man had a God-given talent to play that guitar. So why does he now have to choose between how come he can't use the guitar for the sake of glorifying God? Sure. And I need to do a little bit more research, but I do know back in the day that Jew joints were oftentimes demonized by the church because it was like, I think maybe, if you went to the Jew joint on Saturday, that means you won't come into church on Sunday.
And they still doing it now.
Right.
It's just called something else.
Kickbacks, clubs,
whatever.
And the reason why I was crying because I was like, God, I have done that multiple times where I have created this law and have held people to this law, being basically a Pharisee, and I have excluded people who could have been in the kingdom. I didn't have a kingdom mindset.
Sure, right.
I wanted them to look like a certain way, in order to be in the kingdom. And the reason why the music piece was so big was because I still am a big hip hop fan, and when I got saved, I was like, I really still like hip hop. But this was at a time when music was at its high. Graduation dropped, Rough Riders was out there, Jay-Z dropped the Blueprint. I'm talking about, bro, that's when I got saved. And I was like, I'm gonna be at church on Sunday, but also when I leave, I'm gonna play this Blueprint.
Classic album.
It's a classic album.
And I don't think the Big G would be mad at that because it's a classic album.
But
just saying.
But it was put to me, I have to choose one or the other. Okay. And then on top of that, there were some guys who were using hip hop as a mode. This goes back to demonizing the mode. They were using mode to the mode of hip hop to deliver
Sure.
the gospel. And I was like, all right, this is pretty the beats won't fire, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, if I can't do the hard drug, at least let me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this was like my I don't know what the in between drugs that try to help people get off drugs or whatever the case may be, but I used that. But then the church demonized that.
Well, I mean, and that's my case in point. From what was stated earlier, that's what the church does. I mean, think about it. You could go on a Sunday and you can literally see that throughout, how somebody is dressed, how somebody presents at church, what music they are into, or what they think about when Kirk Franklin dropped. All the old heads was like,
that ain't of God.
That ain't of God. This ain't it. Yada yada yada. Why are you trying to reach this particular demographic, etc.? It happens time after time.
Yes, and I feel as though by us creating these rules, we have. Here's the thing: sin is sin. You can't be sinning. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, and also, you can't make things that is not sinful a sin.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And it hurt my heart because when I saw Preacher Boy, he was like, I really want to embrace everything that's inside of me. You saw him quote 1 Corinthians chapter 10 at the very beginning off the top of his head. You know what I'm saying? And he loves his mom, his dad. And his cousins were saying, you need to do what your daddy doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the music was so inside of him. He was like, why are you making me choose? And it just hurt me to the core of my heart, bro. Right. And I was in the car just crying like.
I mean, even the symbolism centers that the book says we are all that. So you can find yourself in some aspect,
right?
And maybe not directly in the film, but that is what we are. So at the end of the day, it's how we choose to strive to meet the mark. Yeah. And that's the goal, striving to meet the mark.
And I think about all the great, not all the great. Now, listen, I'm not just trying to save celebrities or whatever the case may be, or you know what I'm saying. But how many awesome people have been turned away because we made something that wasn't a sin a sin? Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes from that movie, and then we could move on in the subject. But in the beginning, he was working in the cotton field. He was up before everybody else. When the sun was starting to come up, he had already done the work.
Yeah,
he had already met his quota. So then when he went to go meet with his dad, the first thing he said is, like you always told me, get on the work. Don't let the work get on you. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey, I snatched that drink.
That was good. That was good too.
From now on, bro. I'm like, from now on, I'm getting on the work, bro. I ain't letting it get on me.
I feel you. Give it up for Pastor Troy and his sermonette. Give it up for Pastor Troy and his sermonette on the movie center.
He was holding on to that one.
Bro, I was hurt because I've actually sat down, and I say this and I let it go. I've actually sat down with people. I sat down with people who said to me, you can't listen to this. You can't because it's demonic. I said, okay, well, what type of music should I listen to? They was like, you should listen to quartets. I said, hell
first
no,
of all,
I ain't listening to no
quartets. First of all, you not gonna demonize quartet. Because quartet go hard, bro.
Lace love a little quartet.
Man, listen.
I love a little quartet.
And listen, I'm not demonizing quartet, but they were saying this is the only thing I can listen to.
I don't know why whomever said that, but you ain't gonna sit up here and say.
Nah, because Lace like them blind boys from Alabama.
And dude.
The first time I seen Lace do anything musical, I didn't even know you could play. Mm-hmm. But the first time I've ever seen Lace do anything musical, he was leading a quartet. But he had a guitar though.
He be playing that bass though.
Yeah. He was just rocking side to side like this. I was like, all he needs is a shiny shoe.
Hit a note, Lace.
Your boy is multifaceted.
Hit a note, Lace.
They ain't ready for all that. Time, place, and manner, but your boy is multifaceted.
They're gonna Rance Allen out this month.
Hey, go ahead.
Oh man, but for those people who have been, we talked about this before. You know, church hurt, being church hurt. You know, sometimes it's not really church hurt, whatever the case may be. But my heart was really hurting at that moment because thank the Lord, I was really grasped up by me needing Jesus, that these Christians who told me that I can't, that hip hop in its totality is evil. Now listen, everything has its evil, side to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the industry and stuff like that, which we will talk about in just a second. But everything has its evil side to it, but don't demonize all of it, because some things can be used and redeemed for the glory of God.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
My boy on.
Sermon that dot. Sermon that dot.
Yo, it's your boy T. Roy, aka your neighborhood hope dealer. If you need some hope, I got some you can borrow. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. And I'm serious. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. One of the things you can help us do right now is get the word out about the Manly Deeds podcast. Why do you tap in? Why are you listening? Because you enjoy the content. And you know what? Your friends are going to enjoy it too. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you're talking about us. Make sure you're liking our post and everything we do. We really appreciate your support in that matter. And I'm out.